girl. This is my second video. In my first video, I covered some forms of non-monogamy, and today I'm going to cover one of the more complex forms, polyamory. Polyamory is an umbrella term, and it means a lot of different things to different people, so this is just going to be a brief overview of some different forms of polyamory. Polyamory means many loves. It mixes the Greek word poly, meaning many or several, and the Latin word amor, meaning love. The combination of Greek and Latin makes some linguists cringe. A polyamorous person, or poly for short, forms consensual, intimate relationships with more than one person at a time. Consent is really the key here. It's what separates ethical non-monogamy from cheating. A common thing to hear in poly circles is love is infinite. However, how a person can show that love can be restricted by how much time and space they have in their life. Poly people believe they can love more than one person at a time, and that doesn't take away the love they feel for someone else. Love is expansive, and it can grow. An idea you hear tossed around a lot is when a parent has a second child, they don't love the first child any less. Another example would be if you're connecting really well with a friend, it's not going to change how you feel about your existing friends. Being poly can be a lifestyle choice, or it can be an orientation like sexual or gender orientation. An example of a lifestyle choice would be someone choosing polyamory because it aligns with their personal or political beliefs. This person can choose to practice poly for part or the rest of their lives. An example of orientation is when someone has always felt as though monogamy was not the right fit for them. Although they may not know that ethical monogamy is a choice, this might mean that they end up in monogamous relationships that don't really work for them. Polyamorous relationships can be either hierarchical or non-hierarchical. Hierarchical relationships have primaries, secondaries, tertiaries, etc. Some people use these terms to describe their relationships for ease of communication. I would argue if that's the case, there are ways around it rather than ranking someone as less important. Being a secondary can have real meaning and consequences. For example, if a primary couple sets up rules and boundaries to feel safe and protect their relationship, this can mean that being a primary comes with a status that the secondary does not. Some examples of rules couples might make are no sex on the first date, or no sleepovers, or no falling in love. The problem with these are they don't often address the root need, like why do sleepovers feel bad? And policing people's feelings doesn't usually work. Moving on to non-hierarchical relationships. In non-hierarchical poly relationships, there are no secondaries or primaries, and one person doesn't have privilege above another. Conflicts are negotiated situationally among the people who are involved. In non-hierarchical poly, there's no ranking between romantic and sexual relationships. However, there is a hierarchy in the overall social network. They do place more value on romantic relationships over friendships, unlike relationship anarchists. More about that in my next video. Some types of polyamorous relationships include polyfidelity. Polyfidelity is a group structure where everyone is involved in simultaneous relationships with each other. It requires that members of the group, however large that group is, practice emotional or sexual fidelity. It could look similar to monogamy except involve more than two people. They will only have sex and/or intimate relationships inside the group. They may choose to keep the group closed or invite in new members if everyone agrees. Another type of polyamorous relationship is Vs, or Ws. This is when some people are involved with each other, but not everyone is involved with everyone else. The V is a common form of this, when the person at the base of the V is involved with each of the 2 points. For example, a woman at the base of the V might have 2 boyfriends. The boyfriends might be friends with each other, but they're not involved romantically or sexually. They're called each other's metamors. An extended version of the V is the W. For example, 2 women and 3 men are involved, but the men aren't involved with each other. Monopoly relationships. In some cases, a monogamous person and a poly person get together, and this is called a monopoly relationship. In this case, one half of the couple chooses to pursue outside relationships, while the other half of the couple chooses to stay monogamous. Because we're talking about ethical non-monogamy, both parties consent to this arrangement. The final type of non-monogamy I wanted to talk about is relationship anarchy, but that's going to get its own video, so check that out. I'm going to post links to Twitter and Facebook down below, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!